All right, well, got a little spare time. So, happen to have this little light box kind of apparatus here. But it's nice and it really illuminates the object. And I have an interesting object here. What do I got? So this is a ProTech Malibu. This is a ProTech Malibu in MagnaCut. So it's a pretty cool knife, and I like it a lot. I have a lot of knives, a lot of pocket knives. This one's kind of special in a lot of ways. So I have other knives that I've always loved. Things like this one. This is a Benchmade 940. Okay. I love this knife. It's obviously been used a bit, but it's a great knife. Right? S30V steel, it's just fine. It's a great user. It's thin, it goes well in the pocket. Very easy to manipulate. Okay. Not quite as easy as that one, but it's close to it. We'll get more into that. But this is a pretty good comparison, especially this model of this knife. Okay, the Malibu is a little bit more expensive, at least this variant. This is the MagnaCut version. So the steel is definitely upgraded a little bit. But size-wise, right, they're pretty darn close. Cutting edge, like the geometry of it, see that flat there and that flat? They're not all that different. They're not the best cutters in the world, but they're good enough. Okay. And you can see here, if you really line them up, very close, both in thickness, blade length, actual cutting edge. Yeah, very, very similar. Okay. Now then, I've got other 940s, right? Here's a -1. So even though we're talking about different materials, okay, I think this is a pretty good comparison, right? We jumped to carbon fiber here instead of aluminum, instead of the other 940, which is also aluminum. So that was a good comparison for materials. This was a good comparison for price. Okay, dimensionally, this one and the green one are about the same, but don't let people fib to you. This one is a little thicker. Most people don't talk about that, but in the handle, the -1's a little thicker. Not a lot, but a little. It's also a little lighter. Not a lot, but a little. Both of these are in the under 3 ounce range for weight, which means, in my opinion, you're not really going to notice either one. The Malibu's one Achilles heel is its thickness in the pocket. It's also the same thing, though, that makes it feel great in my hand. Okay? It fills my hand well. Nothing you don't need. 940 feels good too. But for semi-light duty carry, both of these knives are going to be similar in a lot of ways in the pocket. Cutting performance, not all that different. But for me, it comes down to the opening mechanism, the lock, the way they open, the way they close, because I'm weird. I switch pockets. I switch sides. Okay, I'm a concealed carrier. Sometimes my right strong side pocket, I'm right-handed, is occupied. and I'll flip it over to the left side, or sometimes I'll take it out of a rear pocket and move it to the front left pocket because maybe I don't want to scratch seats, things like that. So if I come in with my left hand, all right, let's say I pull this out of a pocket this way. This knife is pretty easy to open with the left, pretty easy to close with the left. This knife is definitely easier to do that with. This is a better knife that switches back and forth. Even though the pocket clip's not reversible, I'm not reversing it. I don't do it often enough to make that a thing. Okay. Now, let's get the 940 out of here for a second. Those are almost direct comparisons. To me, they're as close as they get, those two knives. Okay. What else is a hot knife right now? Oh. Absolutely the Demko, right? The Demko 20.5, or the new Demko Shark Cub that just came out. It's popular. This one's in 3V steel. I didn't own anything in 3V, so I wanted something that was kind of tough, especially since this lock is so renowned for being tough and stable. It's a good lock. It's easy to use, right? You can flick it out. You can wheel it out. You can just pop it out. Easier to open and close this than an Axis lock. Okay? And I would say in the right hand, strong side carry, for me, it's about a wash. This knife's easier in the pocket, though, than this one is. This one's in Magna Cut. This is 3V. Magna Cut, for being stainless steel, is pretty tough, from what I hear. Right? So to me, that mitigates a little bit of the advantage of having something like a tool steel. Okay? These knives are less similar. This knife is thinner, for sure. Right? The Demko's thinner than this guy over here. The Demko's pocket clip kind of stinks normally. The one that comes with it is pretty shallow carry. I don't have it with me right now, but it is. This is a Lynch clip, deep carry, and it's real darn nice. It's a great clip. I really like it. Be a good time to go and talk about this clip, though. I mean, the Protex clip is fantastic. Deep carry, unobtrusive, doesn't come too far down the knife. They put this little landing pad underneath it. Oh, so nice. Doesn't rip up pockets. My jeans are just frayed and terrible, mostly from other knives. Things like this G10 here. Right? That's chewing it up. This will eat your pockets. G10 and a clip, yeah. Levi no likey. But anyway, fantastic knife. For my normal cutting task, though, I would like a little more corrosion resistance. I knew that going into it. Not corrosion resistant. I haven't had a trouble with it rusting, but I have a little reservation. You know, that last moment thought when you pull out a knife and you cut something and you're like, well, should I now wipe this off? Do I need to rinse it off before I put it away? Is that going to be important? Right? I think about that with this. This knife isn't as good in the left hand, and it's mostly because of the deployment method. And it's not hard. See that? I just bobbled a little bit. Not quite as good in my left. This guy, left hand, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. It'll go all day long. It's fantastic. Since we're talking about carry knives, right? Look at these fellas. Right? Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. This is the S110 version. This is Maximet. In the right hand, strong side carry, they are fantastic knives. A little thick, right? But pretty light for what you're getting, for capability. It feels good in your hand. Multiple different ways to grab them. Again, not a big fan of their clips they come with. Noticing a trend here? I switch a lot of pocket clips out. I like deep carry. Right? And Casey Lynch really does a good job with his clips, man. He just does. They're really nice. Great knives. Love them to death. They're a little tall this way. So if you're going for a front pocket carry, they're going to kind of get in the way a little. Not terribly, but I mean, you see the comparison there. Look at that. Look at the thinness of that. Thickness has been done before. You've seen it. How thick is it? A little thicker. Not much. These guys are the same, of course. See, that's the same. But about the same. However, right, we get a problem when it comes to left-hand carry. All right, let me show you with the Para 3. Opening, easy peasy. But now, whoops, I'm carrying it my left front. I've made a cut. I got Maximet. This thing will cut for days. I just made my cut. I'm on a ladder. I'm fumbling. How do I close this damn thing? Good Lord. Awkward. Awkward. Okay. Not as good in that respect. Weight-wise, they're not that far off from this guy. They're pretty close. Even the big guy here. This one, the PM2, pretty close. Again, there it is. There's that left hand. The ProTech Malibu almost has a automatic feel, even though it's not an automatic. There's something about it. Just feels really cool. Right? So easy to manipulate, so easy to operate. This MagnaCut steel, for me, I sharpen mostly on a sharp maker, which stinks. It's not ideal. You can see the scratching and everything on the blade, but it's pretty sharp right now. Right? This is with a sharp maker, so let's see my gross hands. Yeah, you see it, right? That's a lot of hair. It's nasty. Plenty sharp. Haven't touched it up since I sharpened it from the factory edge. The factory edge, I ain't gonna lie, a little bit crappy. Wasn't the best. I care about centering. I don't care what other people say. It bugs the absolute crap out of me when a knife's not centered. I'm sorry. It's as simple is it or isn't it? This knife came uncentered. It was off a little. I had to fix it. Same with this fella. This fella is still a little off center now and then. Just depends on its mood for the day. And that's mostly because an axis lock has some slop in it. They just do. They wiggle around a little. Okay? For the record, the Demco, centered as hell. So MagnaCut steel, the ease of operation. Boy, it opens so easy. It carries so easy. It fits the hand so well. What a blade shape, right? I do a lot of these cuts. Can you see my hand? I'm holding 2 fingers. I do a lot of that. You can interface with it. You can get handy with it. you can get intimate with this blade. Love the clean looks of it, right? There ain't a speck of writing on this thing, not even on the pocket clip, except right there on the spine. I love that. I just do. Anyway, that's a little bit of comparison to these other knives. I really bought this knife mostly for the Magna Cut, kind of as a tester. And I'd always been interested in the ProTech Malibu since they came out. Obviously not easy to find them. But I got lucky at my local shop. They had one in Magna Cut. So we'll give it a shot. I've opened it about 20,000 times too, by the way. 20,000. Yep. Watching movies, driving around, whatever. I mean, look at that. Whew, it's addictive. Anywho, that's all I'm going to talk about today. This is kind of my first video. I'm really just testing things out, showing you a little bit of stuff. But there you go. I mean, you saw it up next to a few other knives. We'll see how it does long term, but I don't expect any problems. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.